Companies like Facebook and Google have been hit hard over the question of their sort of the tension between wanting to remain open platforms where anybody can post any sort of news and not wanting to limit free speech. But that's a really tricky bargain. I mean, that's a really tricky game to play. Did you buy their open platform argument, or do you think that they needed to be more aggressive in terms of curation?
When we've got into this, we think when you have a large platform, there's a lot of responsibility. And we've always taken a great deal of responsibilities for our platforms, starting from iTunes, when we did the music store, to the App Store, certainly Apple News, podcasts. And so we had a bunch of rules. We came up with guidelines that had to be followed in order to participate in there. The other part is that nobody is completely free. There's no such thing as free. There's no pornography on any of these sites. So people do draw lines, and you can decide where you want to draw the line. We do think free speech is important, but we don't think white supremacist or hate speech is free speech that's important to be out there. We don't think, for example, we denied bomb-making apps. Apps that were submitted into our store that would, teach you how to make a bomb. We just don't think that's something we want on our platform, and so we draw those lines.
Your line, the NRA fell on the right side of your line when it came to Apple TV. So their channel is still there, and obviously there was a great deal of pressure on a litany of media companies in the wake of the horrific school shootings and shootings that we've seen. Is there a reason you kept NRA?
Yeah, what we do is we draw a set of guidelines that are published, so everyone in the world can read them. If it doesn't follow the guidelines, we obviously don't allow it in the store. And we do think it's important. We have certainly the NRA TV app. We also have pro-gun control apps in our store. It's important for America and the world to have debate on certain issues from that standpoint. But if it falls off, I'll give you an example. From day one, we decided that we did not want our app store to be a place that you buy and sell guns. And so we don't allow apps that allow you to buy or sell guns. And again, free speech is something we stand behind, and it is important, but that doesn't mean it's everything.
For much of the last decade, the sort of enthusiasm around any product launch, iPhone or any tech product launch, has been, there's been this sort of celebratory atmosphere. I would say, given everything that's gone on with Facebook and Twitter and Google and fake news and sort of larger discussion about the effect that social media has on society, there's also a question about what these devices are doing to us, and everything from, whether or not we are capable of paying attention for more than 2 seconds at a time to actually our body structure and our, my lumbar structure. Do you worry about the effect that these devices are having on society?
We absolutely do, and this gets back to how we started this conversation. With big, successful platforms comes great responsibility around it. And so this is something we've cared about from the very beginning. So you talk about iPhone and apps, for example. We did parental controls. We put each app has an age rating to it. This was something we came up with. Apps didn't have that before. There's no movie industry to call it PG-13, for example. So these are things we've cared about deeply from the very, very beginning. We added a feature which some of you hopefully have seen, which is Do Not Disturb. Because there are times when you're, if you want to do something great and you don't want to be interrupted in the world, turn on the Do Not Disturb and your phone will go silent. We take one of the things we don't want people to do is to text while they're driving. And so we created this driving mode now where when someone texts you, it just responds back saying, you're driving and, we'll get back to you, and I'll get back to you. So these are all things that we've built right into the products because they're really important to do.